everybody, and welcome back to the Bit by Bit Coding Club online. This is lesson 3 of our first project, Web Dev and Design. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Today we will be making a cookbook website. So we want less than header greater than. We're going to close that out with our less than slash header greater than, and we're going to hit enter in between those two tags twice. So we've got some space in the middle, tab for readability reasons. H1 tag, welcome to my cookbook. Close that out and you can see it up here on the right side of your screen. And then paragraph tag, your guide to delicious recipes. And then we have that closing header tag, of course. All right, and now today we're going to get into something new, which is going to be our nav bar. So let's the less than nav greater than, and we want to close that out. So less than slash nav greater than, enter twice. Now this is similar to a list. So UL, close a UL, and go in between those two. So here we have our nav. UL is nested within the nav, and within the UL we are going to nest list elements. So li and then a space href equals index.html. Finish out those quotes, greater than home, and then you're going to close out that a tag, and then you're going to close out that list element. And then we are going to do that again for the rest of these. And so we are not going to have, so most of these pages in the nav are just going to be pages that are just placeholders for right now. So we're going to do a hashtag recipes. So we know we are going to have a recipes page here at one point, but not yet. But we want it to be there as a placeholder, but we will eventually make a page for it if we ever come back to this. So once again, hashtag contact. So our next page, contact. Once again, closing that out with a less than slash a, less than slash li. And so that's our nav. So go ahead to line 19 and enter. And then just like we did in the previous lesson, we're going to be using section id equals home. Close that out, enter. We're doing h2, featured recipes. And now we're going to be using a div. So this is basically just saying, it's basically like a section. So div class equals recipe hyphen card. Close that, and we are going to, just for good practice, is going to close the div, go between the two, enter, tab over in the middle. So we should be on line 24. So on line 24 here, you're going to put an image, src equals, put a hashtag there because we don't have the image yet, we're just putting a placeholder, and the alt is spaghetti. Close that. If you refresh, there we see it showing up. And then we want h3, spaghetti carbonara, h3, close that out, and then p, and we're going to put a little blurb about it, a classic Italian pasta dish made with eggs, cheese, and pepper. So we close that out. And then now we're going to provide a link to the recipe, and we will actually be making the pages for the recipes, for the two recipes we're going to feature. So stick around and you'll learn how to link two pages together. This is the first time we'll be doing this. All right, so it's once again a href Very similar to what we did in the nav, but this time it's actually going to go somewhere. So chocolate underscore cake.html. Go out of that quotation space, class equals button, close that out, and we're going to say view recipe is the text we want to see. Close out the A, and then we're done with that div. So if you want to see how it looks, this is what it looks like. You click on this and it will take you to a page, but we don't have that page yet, so right now it just doesn't work. So we have the div, and here now we have to space back one, and we have to close out the section. And just for some readability purposes, we're going to put our comment here that says this is spaghetti carbonara. And I have a little spelling error there. So there we go. We're gonna enter after that section just for now, but we're gonna pause on this page and we're gonna go ahead and make the spaghetti page. So go over here to the left hand side, hit add HTML, and you should see this new HTML right here that my cursor's over. You want to right click on that, hit rename, and we're gonna name that spaghetti underscore carbonara. Enter. And it should, if you go back to the index and you click view recipe, it should take you right there. But if not, oh my gosh, I wrote chocolate cake. I got ahead of myself. So spaghetti, and you see it shows up there. Yeah, so chocolate cake is the next recipe. So it works, there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this page. All right, so we are going to, in the head, we are going to fill in some information that wasn't there, even though it's usually there for our index page. So say meta char set equals UTF-8. Now this is just some basic stuff we need to keep. Meta name equals viewport. You don't really have to worry about this yet since we're just still in the basics of web dev and design, but it's still good to start knowing it. Width equals device dash width. Initial scale equals 1.0. All right, we're going to close that tag out. Title, spaghetti carbonara, my cookbook. And then we are done in the head tag for now, and we're going to go right into our body. It's a header, opening and closing. Go in between those two, enter, go back in the middle. We should be on line 10 right now. And we're going to say H1. And it's going to be spaghetti carbonara. Close that out. And then we did forget our style sheet here, so we're going to go back and link rel equals style sheet, href equals style.css, fills in right there for you. That's something you always need to make sure when you make a new page. Always make sure to link to your style sheet, because or else the styles won't carry over and you're going to have one page that looks beautiful and one page that looks kind of wonky. So let's go back over here. So that's all we want in our header. So we're going to enter till we're on line 14. And we're going to go H2 ingredients. H2, enter. And this is going to be a list. So UL, close that UL, go in between the two, enter twice. We should be on line 16. And now we're going to start with our list elements. So 200G, spaghetti, close the list element, list 100 grams, close that, list element 2 large eggs, close that, freshly ground black pepper. And then our last one is salt. So after that, we're going to be done with that list right there. So enter, enter, and now we're going to go to the instructions. So H2 instructions. Close that out. And now, since these are instructions, we're going to want them to be step by step. So we are going to need to use an ordered list. We're going to close that out. In between them, line 27. And then, once again, LI, like usual, boil the spaghetti in salted water until once I'm done typing all of these, you can feel free to pause the video and fill it in and then come back. Alright, now that we're done with this list, we are almost done with the page. All we have left to add in is the footer. So go after the closing ordered list tag, enter, enter. You should be on line 35. We're going to do less than footer, greater than, less than slash footer, greater than, go in between the two and enter, enter. Should be line 36. And we're going to say paragraph tag. And then we're going to use the ampersand, which is if you hit shift and 7, that's how you'll get that. And say copy colon. This will give us the copyright symbol. 2024, my cookbook. Less than slash P, greater than, and then a space there. And there you go, you've got that copyright symbol. And we are done with this page. So now we're going to go back to the next HTML and get ready for our next recipe. So we finished this section here. Actually, that section, we are going to change this up a bit. So this comment here, copy it and move it to be right before that div, because we are still going to be in this section because we're all in home. So enter, you should be on line 30, and we're going to enter one more time to line 31, and we're going to put another comment there that says chocolate cake, div class equals, and we're kind of just copying what we did above, recipe card, and then we're going to close that div here. Going between the two, you should be on line 33. So we're going to put that image there again. Hashtag, because it's a placeholder. And then we're going to say alt equals chocolate cake. And close out that image tag. Enter H3 chocolate cake. close that H3, enter. P, a rich and moist chocolate cake, perfect for any occasion. And then we're going to end our div and our section. We're all good there. Actually, one more thing. On line 36, we have that href chocolate underscore cake dot html class equals button. You know, this is what we're going to get into with our style.css, so we will be revisiting that class button right there. But we're not there yet. View recipe again. Close that A. And then div section. We're all good. And now you might notice that that view recipe and the chocolate cake image are super close together. So in between this ending div and this comment, we're going to go enter, enter. We're going to say less than, br, greater than, and that's a break. So it's going to just put a little bit of space in between those so it looks better. All right, we're going to take out some of that excess spacing so it looks a little easier to read. And there's our finished index.html page. So let's go ahead and make that chocolate cake page. So add HTML. And so we're going to rename it like we did for the other one. So make sure that link works. And it does. And what we can go in here is we can go in and we can copy everything we put in the head. So that's going to be lines 4 through 7 of the spaghetti carbonara page. Copy that and move it to the chocolate cake page. Well, not move, but paste it to the chocolate cake page and just rename the title chocolate cake dash my cookbook. And that's the good thing about coding is everything you do is pretty much reusable. So you don't have to type things out a million times. You're going to get to the point where you can be like, oh, I can reuse this. So we are going to work on the chocolate cake page now. So once again, just like we've done for all of these pages, we're going to have our header in between the two. Say H1 chocolate cake. Oh, sorry, that's supposed to be an H1. If you'd like to test yourself more, you can go ahead and pause this video, try and fill out this page on your own. We'll just set it up on your own and then come back and watch out for the information like the ingredients and the instructions. If you'd like to do it on your own, you can just set up those lists. It's going to mimic like the last one. You can just set it up on your own and then come back and see the information. Or if you're still a little stuck, feel free to watch it through the entire way. So we're done with our header. So we're going to enter, enter. We're going to say H2, ingredients. Very repetitive of what we did in the last page, but that makes it great for learning how we're going to do this between those. 200 flour. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly fill in these ingredients and then we will move back in. Once again, if you need to pause, if I'm going too fast, if you need to pause at the end and just type these in, that is completely fine. All right, now that we're done with that list, we're going to go ahead and do our instructions. So enter, enter, you should be putting that heading 2 on line 29. And once again, ordered list. And same as with the ingredients, if you'd like to just skip ahead to when I'm finished and type it in there instead of waiting for me to do it, feel free to go ahead and do that. All right, so we're all done with the lists, and now once again, we're just gonna go ahead and put in that footer and the copyright. So once again, that's ampersand, copy, semicolon, 2024, my cookbook. All right, and that page is all done. And now the last thing we're gonna do is some styling. And this, you will see, will go around our entire site. So let's make our body light pink. Our font, let's make the font for everything, the default will be white. But as you can see, the paragraph text is all still black, and that's because it's being overridden here. So let's take that off. We'll just take the entire paragraph section off, so that everything is white. And what we're gonna do is actually our heading 1s, we're gonna make those black to really draw attention to that. You can see all here, got that attention drawn. Just makes you look more because it's different than everything else. And we're going to do that with also our heading 2. So you can see that really makes you look like, oh, ingredients, instructions. It helps you find what you're looking for quicker because it's right in your face. And we're going to do it with heading 3 too, because it will just make this page look a little cleaner. It's looking great so far. So we've got some simple styling down, and the last thing we're going to do is we're going to text align center for everything. And you see here, we've got some bullets here, and just that nav there just is not looking good. And neither are these lists. So what we want to do is, so for these 2 pages, that doesn't make much sense to have it in the center, but it looks good with the first page. So instead of putting the text align center in body, we're going to put it in hashtag home. Once again, the curly braces, I'm going to say text align center. And we're going to take that off of body, and you should see the home will stay the same. but you might see, okay, this doesn't look very good because it didn't take everything, and that's because not everything is in that home section. So what we are going to do is we are going to move the beginning of that section, and we are going to put it right before the header. And we are going to tab all of that because it is within the section. Fix up some spacing, and you can see here everything is centered nice and pretty. And that's the good thing about coding. You didn't have to rewrite a whole bunch of things. All you had to do was move one tag somewhere else, and it fixed everything up for us. And you can see the spacing here still doesn't look good, but the spacing here looks fine because we moved it back to the default left align. So the last thing we're going to do together today is fix this up. And so this is a little new. So we're going to go here, we say nav, and then we are going to say all right, what we're going to do is we're going to change up the nav a little bit. Since we have multiple unordered lists, we're going to give this one a class, and that is going to be nav-menu. So now we'll be able to reference just the UL that's within nav. So we're going to erase that, and we're going to say instead, we're going to say dot nav menu, and then we're going to say list hyphen style hyphen type, and we're saying none, and it took away those bullets. There we go. And if you look back at other ones, they all still have their bullets. So there you go. You've just made another website, and this is your first multi-page website with Bit by Bit at least. But congratulations on a great complex website. You feel free to go ahead and continue to play around with the styles, find images and replace the hashtags here with actual image paths, and find your own images of spaghetti or chocolate cake. And lastly, feel free to drop in the comments any other websites you'd like us to make. Participate in the polls that I'll post often, that I'll post often on the YouTube channel. Make sure to participate in those polls. They will be asking what type of website you'd like to make, so drop in the comments if you have your own idea, or wait for the polls and pick which one you'd like to see the most. Thanks for joining, and I hope you learned something.